Did you know that neuroscience studies have shown that our brain cannot distinguish between imagination and reality? This means that what you visualize can quite literally shape your life. If that sounds unbelievable, stay with me until the end of this video, because what I'm about to share could completely transform your relationship with money. This 9-minute technique has the potential to change your financial reality forever. Picture yourself waking up every morning knowing that money flows to you constantly and effortlessly, as though everything is arriving with minimal effort. Everything that exists in the physical world was created twice, first in the mind, and then in reality. This is not just a philosophical idea, it's a truth that can shift how you view your own ability to attract wealth and abundance. When you allow yourself to clearly visualize what you truly desire, you are actively paving the way for it to appear in your life. I want you to understand the power you hold. Your brain, when presented with a vivid and emotionally charged image, does not differentiate between what is real and what is imagined. It begins to work in your favor to turn that vision into your reality. Close your eyes and think deeply about what you truly want. It could be the car of your dreams, a magnificent home, unforgettable holidays, or even a sense of financial freedom that enables you to help those around you. Visualize every single detail: the texture of the car seats, the sunlight pouring through the windows of your new home, the sound of waves during that idyllic getaway. Feel it as if it were already true. This practice doesn't just inspire, it also triggers a biological response in your body. Neuroscientific research shows that when we vividly imagine a goal, our brain releases endorphins and dopamine, chemicals linked to motivation and pleasure, placing us in the ideal mental state to take action. Steve Jobs often said that he began each project by imagining how it would impact people's lives. He would visualize, in detail, the user's experience before even putting pen to paper. That's how he revolutionized technology and built a global empire. And what about you? Have you taken a moment today to imagine the life you truly want to live? I urge you to devote 9 minutes to this. 9 minutes of deep connection with your creative mind, a space where you are free to dream without limits, without judgment. This practice is not mere fantasy. When you visualize, you are creating a mental blueprint that your brain interprets as a target to reach. It begins filtering opportunities and making choices that move you closer to that goal, even without your conscious awareness. It's as though you're aligning your internal GPS with the exact destination you wish to reach. People once told me I could never become financially successful because I lacked a formal education. At that moment, I realized I had to do something different. I began visualizing a life of abundance. Every single day, for a few minutes, I would see myself in a luxurious office, surrounded by people dedicated to transforming their lives. I could smell the environment, hear the background sounds, and most importantly, I could feel the emotions of living that reality. It wasn't long before opportunities started appearing, and each one seemed to guide me precisely toward that mental vision. You might be thinking, this sounds too easy to be true. But let me remind you, the power doesn't lie in how complex it is, but in how consistent you are. Visualization is a step that anyone can take, no matter where they are or what resources they currently have. It is this very simplicity that makes the process so accessible and deeply transformative. You need nothing more than a quiet moment and the courage to dream big. Practicing visualization not only connects you to what you desire, but also nurtures a sense of worthiness within you. The more often you see yourself living the life you long for, the more you begin to believe it is truly possible. And it is that belief that moves mountains. Consider individuals like Arnold Schwarzenegger, who used the power of visualization to become a bodybuilding champion, a world-famous actor, and later the governor of the state of California. When he began, he had nothing, just a clear vision and an unshakable determination to make it a reality. From childhood, we are exposed to ideas about money and work that shape our view of the world, but we rarely pause to question these beliefs. Have you ever asked yourself why you believe that the only way to earn money is through hard work? Or who taught you that idea? Often, we accept these notions as truth without realizing they may be limiting our potential. If you feel stuck in an endless cycle, working tirelessly and yet still unable to achieve financial freedom, know that you are not alone. The good news is, it can change. When I was a child, my father used to leave the house every day saying he had to work to earn money. That phrase became etched in my memory, and for many years, I believed it was the only way to succeed. Work, to me, was a duty, not a choice. But later on, as I spoke to successful people, I discovered a surprising truth: it is not hard work that creates wealth, but rather the way you think and behave in relation to money. Think about how your mind has been programmed. Since childhood, your beliefs about money have been shaped by your parents' experiences, your family members, and even society. If they struggled financially, you may have internalized the idea that money is difficult to come by. This belief may be so deeply rooted that you don't even realize how it affects your daily decisions. I once heard a phrase that completely changed the way I thought: what you believe about money determines how you attract it. I began to reflect on this, and I realized that my financial outcomes were merely a reflection of the beliefs I had carried since childhood. These beliefs, often unconscious, dictated my actions, influenced my habits, and even determined what I thought I deserved. And here lies the key: in order to change your results, you must change your beliefs. It is not enough to work longer hours or take on more responsibilities. If your mind is still stuck in the idea that money is scarce or that you are undeserving of wealth, it will be nearly impossible to break free from that cycle. Take Warren Buffett, for instance. He did not become one of the richest men in the world because he worked more hours than everyone else. He succeeded because he thought differently. His mindset allowed him to see opportunities where others only saw obstacles. He himself said, "The best investment you can make is in yourself." And that begins with the way you think. So now I encourage you to pause and reflect on what you believe about money. Ask yourself, who taught me these ideas? Are these beliefs helping me, or are they holding me back from what I truly want? Do not be afraid to challenge the things you've always assumed to be true, even if they've been with you since childhood. Financial ignorance is not a life sentence, it is a choice. Today, with an abundance of information available, you have the opportunity to reprogram your mind and create a new reality for yourself. It all begins with small steps. Whenever a limiting thought arises, ask yourself, is this truly real, or just a belief I've accepted without questioning it? As you begin to recognize these patterns, you will already be on the path to replacing them with thoughts that support your goals. If you still have doubts, consider this: if hard work alone were the only path to wealth, why is it that some of the most successful people in the world don't have backgrounds of intense physical labor, but rather of smart strategy? Think of J.K. Rowling, for example, who turned her love for writing into a fortune of around £800 million. Despite facing unimaginable adversity, she didn't just work hard, she believed it was possible and acted in alignment with that belief. Now is the time to begin redefining your relationship with money. When you challenge beliefs that no longer serve you, you make room for new possibilities. Imagine what could be possible if, instead of viewing money as something scarce, you saw it as abundant energy ready to flow into your life. Because, truthfully, that is exactly what it is. The only question is, are you ready to change what you believe and in doing so, change your reality? Gratitude. It may sound like a simple word, but its power goes far beyond what we imagine. When we speak of transforming your life and attracting abundance, gratitude is not merely a feeling, it is a creative force in action. Think about it: how can you expect to receive more from life if you're not appreciating what you already have? Gratitude is the most effective way to align your mind with the frequency of abundance. It is like opening a door to an infinite reservoir of possibilities. I've been there myself, feeling as though everything was stagnant. I was stuck in a routine that didn't reflect my dreams, and the frustration grew stronger with each passing day. Until one day, someone told me something that changed everything: you can't attract something greater until you learn to value what is already in your hands. I decided to put that into practice. Every night before bed, I wrote down 3 things I was grateful for, even if they were small, like a smile from someone, a warm cup of tea, or the chance to learn something new. That simple act started to shift my perspective. Instead of focusing on what I lacked, I began to notice all that I already had. And like a miracle, opportunities began to appear. If that sounds like coincidence, let me explain what's really happening. When you express gratitude, you activate specific areas in the brain responsible for positive emotions and well-being. It's not just a pleasant sensation, it's neurological reprogramming that places you in a state of receptivity. It's as if your mind is saying to the universe, I'm ready for more. Studies in positive psychology show that people who practice gratitude regularly experience higher levels of happiness and, surprisingly, greater financial success. If this feels difficult to apply, let me offer you a simple strategy that can change everything. Begin each day by saying aloud, I am grateful for everything I have, and for everything that is on its way. You might not believe it at first, but that doesn't matter. The power lies in repetition and intention. It's not about how much you have, it's about how deeply you value it. That's what determines how much more good can flow into your life. Think of well-known individuals like Jim Carrey. He once shared that during the most difficult times of his life, when he was still an unknown actor, he used gratitude as a tool to transform his reality. He wrote himself a check for approximately £2 million for acting services rendered and dated it for a future time. Every single day, he would look at that check and visualize it as if he had already received the money. He would feel a deep sense of thankfulness, as though it had already manifested. Years later, he actually received a check for a similar amount for his role in the film * Dumb and Dumber star. Was it just coincidence? Or the power of aligning emotions with intention? I want you to begin right now. Close your eyes and think of something you are grateful for. It could be your health, your family, a close friend, or simply the fact that you are alive and have a chance to reshape your life. Let that feeling of gratitude swell within you like a wave. Now, picture what you wish to attract into your life. It could be money, a new opportunity, or a meaningful relationship. See it clearly in your mind's eye, and express thanks as though it already exists. Here lies the secret: gratitude not only acknowledges what already is, but it also anticipates what is to come. It is an act of faith and trust in the unfolding process. When you give thanks for something not yet received, you are affirming to yourself and to the universe that you believe it is possible. And that belief alone holds the power to change your life entirely. If you still have doubts, remember this: gratitude is not merely an emotion, it is a decision. It is something you can choose to practice every day, no matter where you are or what you possess. The more you give thanks, the more reasons you will find to be thankful. Life responds to your inner state, and a grateful mind is one that is open to receive. So why not start now? Close your eyes and allow that energy to fill you. If you've read this far, then you are on the edge of a challenge that has the potential to shift your life so profoundly that after just 7 days, you will no longer be the same person. The key to transformation lies in action. Today, I invite you to take control of your destiny through a simple yet immensely powerful commitment. For 7 days, you will dedicate a few minutes each evening to a process that has already proven to unlock hidden potential in thousands of people around the world. Imagine this: every night before you sleep, you close your eyes and begin to visualize your desire. Not vague, passive thinking, but the creation of a mental image so clear and vivid that you feel as though you are already living it. Picture yourself driving the car of your dreams, hands on the steering wheel, hearing the engines roar. Imagine yourself inside the home you've always wished for, feeling the softness of the furnishings, watching sunlight pour through the windows. Experience the joy of the journey you long to take, see the landscapes, breathe in the fresh air, and hear the sounds around you. This challenge is simple, but it requires consistency. And neurologically, there's a reason it works. When you visualize a goal with clarity and emotion, your brain enters a high-activity state and releases chemicals such as dopamine and endorphins. These don't just make you feel good, they form new neural connections that strengthen the behaviors needed to bring your vision into reality. It's like reprogramming your mind to move towards your dreams, even subconsciously. And the most remarkable part? Neuroscience research shows that this type of mental practice can enhance your resilience and improve your ability to make more accurate decisions. At the beginning of my journey, it felt like all my efforts were in vain. Nothing seemed to go right, and I was on the verge of giving up. That's when a mentor challenged me to do something simple: spend a few minutes every evening visualizing the life I truly wanted to live. I still remember what he told me: Bob, you cannot create what you cannot imagine. Your future depends on how clearly you can see it. Despite my doubts, I decided to give it a try. For 7 consecutive nights, I sat down and vividly imagined every detail of the life I wanted to build. By the end of that week, I began to notice small changes. An unexpected opportunity arose, people started reaching out to me with ideas, and most importantly, my self-confidence increased dramatically. I want you to experience the same. Over the next 7 days, immerse yourself fully in this process. It's not just about dreaming, it's about feeling it, believing in it, and taking action. When you do this, you are sending a clear message to the universe and, more importantly, to yourself, that you are ready to receive. What's fascinating is that this practice doesn't just influence your emotions, it also affects the decisions you make throughout the day, often without you realizing it. You start moving towards what you want without even noticing. Many people have used this technique and achieved extraordinary results. Michael Phelps, the most decorated Olympic swimmer of all time, revealed that he used to visualize his races every night before bed. He didn't just see them, he felt the water, heard the crowd cheering, and experienced the rush of victory. That level of mental immersion was one of the key reasons he was able to win so many medals. Now imagine what you could achieve by applying the same principle. Here is your challenge: commit to 7 days. Choose a quiet moment before bed, close your eyes, and dive into the life you want to create. Feel every detail, every emotion. And at the end of the week, come back and tell me what has changed. Because something will change, I assure you. This isn't magic, it's science backed by intention. Repetition is the secret that few understand, but all great achievers master. Whatever you want to accomplish, whether it's financial abundance of approximately £100,000 sterling, written as £100,000 sterling, or the development of a new skill, repetition is what transforms intentions into tangible reality. It's not about doing something once, it's about doing it consistently until it becomes second nature, an automatic response that guides your decisions and actions. Our brains are like sponges, absorbing whatever we repeat. Scientific studies show that when we reinforce a thought or behavior through repetition, we strengthen the neural connections in our brain. These connections are like paths through a forest. The more often you walk them, the clearer and easier they become to follow. This is the key to reprogramming your mind and creating the results you truly desire. I learned this lesson when I was struggling with one of the biggest barriers in my life, the belief that success was meant for others. I felt that no matter how hard I tried, I could never reach the level of success I saw in other people. Until one day, my mentor said to me, "Bob, you are only as good as the thoughts you repeat to yourself. If you want to change your life, start by changing what you keep telling yourself." In that moment, I made the decision to create a mantra for myself, something that would reinforce the vision of the person I aspired to become. Every single day, multiple times a day, I repeated, "I am a successful person. Money flows to me in abundance. I attract opportunities." At first, it felt strange, almost like I was lying to myself. But over time, those words began to feel true, and eventually, they started to manifest in my reality. Think about it: if you constantly tell yourself that you're not good enough, or that you'll never have enough money, what do you think your brain does with that information? It accepts it as truth. In the same way, if you choose to repeat positive affirmations like, "I deserve wealth," or "success is always within reach," your mind will gradually start to accept those as facts too. It's repetition that turns a fleeting idea into an unshakable belief. Tony Robbins often says, repetition is the mother of skill, and he's absolutely right. That's how we learn everything in life, from riding a bicycle to mastering a new language. So why not apply the same principle to transform the way you think about money and success? If you want to build a prosperous life, start by repeating daily the affirmations that support that vision. I want you to try something very simple, yet incredibly effective. Choose an affirmation that resonates with what you want to achieve. It could be something like, "I attract abundance into my life," or "I am grateful for the constant flow of wealth coming to me." Write that statement down on a piece of paper and place it somewhere you can see it every day: the bathroom mirror, your computer screen, or even your car's steering wheel. And every time you see it, repeat it with conviction. Even if at first it feels like empty words, keep going. It's the consistency that brings out the true power of repetition. Repetition isn't just about words, it applies to actions too. Imagine if every day you set aside a few minutes to visualize your goals, express gratitude, and take actions that align with your dreams. Every small repeated step strengthens your commitment, builds momentum, and eventually turns into extraordinary outcomes. If you still have doubts, remember this: repetition is what shapes your identity. What you consistently do, say, and think defines who you are and what you attract into your life. So tell me, what are you repeating to yourself today? Is it helping you build the life you desire, or is it keeping you stuck in a pattern that no longer serves you? You have the power to choose. And when you choose to repeat what brings you closer to your goals, you are taking a crucial step towards transforming your reality. As you reflect on what you've read here, let me remind you, your journey doesn't end here. There is always a next step, a higher level in your growth and understanding. The next video that appears on your screen now is your invitation to continue. There you will discover something that could make you 1% better than you were today, and we both know that this kind of steady, consistent progress is what leads to extraordinary results. Thank you for being here, for investing your time in what truly matters, yourself and your future. I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Let's keep moving forward together, towards the life you truly deserve.